I think this is a good place to talk about the purpose of this vlog, because it may not always be clear. Why am I doing this? It is a chilly Monday morning, and I am finishing up the book, The Biology of Desire by Mark Lewis. Listened to most of it yesterday back and forth to the race. Really good. It's one of the few books that I've read where the author challenges the idea that addiction is a disease, which I have long attested that it is not, just like depression is not a disease. It's learning. It's an adaptive response to your particular personality development in a particular environment. So lots of good stuff in this book. I really thought it was going to be a different book than it is. I just stumbled on it by accident, and it's fantastic. A lot of information in there that supports my work. So anyway, I've got PT in a few minutes. Gonna go up to the studio and do a little file organization for last week's vlog, and then do PT, and then get a ski in before the snow turns to mush. It's April 3rd, and the skiing is still perfect. Oh my God, it was so nice out there. We still have about 18 inches of very solid base. You can ski in the woods where there's no underbrush. Do some crust skiing. Love it. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, there has been a World Championships shaped hole in my life. And it's put a downward tilt to this cross-country ski racing experiment that I've been engaged in for the past 2 years. And I've been going after the segment on Strava called Workout here at Prospect. And that's given me some, I don't know, sense of meaning, purpose, way to measure my progress. And I thought I would go to the ski race yesterday at Cochrane, have some fun, see some of the best skiers in the country, some of the best skiers in the world, and just kind of end it on a fun, positive note. And that worked. It was a blast, and it was great to see really extraordinary skiers in action, up close and personal. But there was one section of the race, it was an uphill climb near the start. You start going downhill, and then you turn around and go right back uphill again. And I filmed Ben Ogden and Johnny Hagenbach going up that climb using the V2 technique. They were the only 2 racers that I saw using that technique. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. So in the race, I V2'd that climb, and I felt really good. I felt strong. So V2ing that climb yesterday kind of did something to me. So when I got up to Prospect today, the snow was great, and I thought, go back and do the workout segment, but use the tips that Andy Newell gave you and ski differently. Don't just try to hammer it. Actually work on these technique tips up the mountain. And I did a 5K warm-up, and I thought, okay, the first one, a little higher tempo, keeping my arms in front of me. And the second one, I'll use the Remy Drolet technique, which is more power and kind of stronger with the legs. You're kind of going up and down with lots of leg compression. Similar to a Simmons-Kruger, but also different. And I was scared, and I had to talk myself into just being calm and gentle. And did the first one with higher tempo, really aggressively attacking the bottom section, which leaves you exhausted when you get to the final steepest section of the climb, but kept my technique together. Then did it again with the Remy Drolet, just really powerful, really long, really letting the legs compress and explode with a slower tempo. And interestingly, that didn't feel as fast when I was doing it. So I got back here to the lodge, and I thought, well, it'd be nice if I was close to my best time, which is a 1:12, which had me ranked as 6th fastest man on that segment. And I thought it'd be nice if I was close to that. It'd be a nice way to end the season. Well, I did a 1:10 on both attempts. the high tempo and the high power, which felt slow. They were both exactly 110, which now ranks me as third fastest. So Johnny Hagenbach has a 105, Jacob Newstad has a 107, and I'm tied for third with Declan Hutchinson at 110. So I'm now skiing right up there in the mix with the fastest college skiers in the East, if not the country. So that's a nice note of progress. Just taking a few technique tips, doing a few experiments, and seeing some improvement. And as I looked at the segment and saw the times, I thought it'd be nice to go to the World Championships and ski against people my age and do really well, or maybe get on the podium. But it's even more, I don't know if satisfying is the word. It's more of a validation of the process that I'm involved in. To see that I can now move my body, at least for a short period of time, as fast as a very well-trained 19 or early 20-something. That reinforces this process. I am improving. I mean, obviously, there's a point of diminishing returns, but I've only been doing this for 2 years, so there's still room for growth there. So that feels good, and it's a good way to end the ski racing season, maybe. I don't know. We're still going to have good skiing here for another week and a half to 2 weeks, and maybe I'll give it one more try. I don't know. 110 is pretty darn fast. It's 11:45 p.m. and I'm just finishing my strength for the day. I finished editing the video around 10:30 and then just started going after some strength training. And I have this sense in me that I really want to up the ante with my strength. Not because I have a goal, but I just have this desire. I have this interest in attacking strength training a bit more aggressively. So I'm curious to see where that goes, because the previous week was pretty weak. I really didn't do much in comparison to the past. Today was not heavy, but it was a decent workout and it felt good. So let's see where this goes. I feel like I'm free now that ski season is over, and maybe I'll go after a few more segments before the snow melts. But either way, I'm pumped to recreate myself, to start with, I don't know, new motivation. And again, it's random. I don't plan it. I just have these urges, these desires, and I follow them until something else happens. But right now, I feel like getting really strong. I'm taking my time this morning, listening to the April showers hit the windshield. I just did some listening to a new book on Becoming a Person by Carl Rogers. Not new to the world, but new to me. I think he wrote it in the 50s and early 60s. I think he's the founder of client-centered therapy, which is something that has intrigued me over the years, so I'm diving in. Last night I finished The Biology of Desire by Mark Lewis. Phenomenal book. The review is going up on Patreon soon, but all about addiction, learning, and simply being human. So, really fantastic listen. In an hour and a half, I'm going to the oral surgeon for a consultation about my wisdom tooth, which is bringing up all kinds of not so fun feelings in me, but I'm doing my best to not let those feelings turn into thoughts and stories and imagined futures. Just letting myself have the feelings, but not running with them, not identifying with them. So I'm going to go upstairs, do some work, and just take it easy today and see what happens. I'll step, and one of those steps may open up the world, and my energy may flood in. Often happens. Just getting out of a consult with the oral surgeon regarding the extraction of my wisdom tooth, and I see this doctor at Prospect all the time. They're a skier. And we were talking about my flashbulb memory of an incident that I had in 2016. I think it's with another wisdom tooth that I had extracted. And the needle went into my trigeminal nerve and just felt like someone blowtorched off the side of my face for about 6 seconds. I was blind in this eye for the rest of the day. And my whole face was a wreck, but the experience of the pain, like, you can't even imagine unless you've experienced it. It literally felt like someone had melted my face off with a blowtorch. And ever since, I have this automatic unconscious trigger around needles in my mouth. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's a flashbulb memory. It's like a PTSD style memory experience. And so I talked to him about that and said, I don't mind the pain, but I have no control over the reaction I have to needles in my mouth now. Just in my mouth. I'm not afraid of them anywhere else. So they're going to put me to sleep. They're going to give me intravenous anesthesia, which I haven't had done since 1979. Anyway, yeah, weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't want to have a panic attack in the midst of the chair, you know. But part of me is like, just, it's okay, you'll be fine. It was a freak accident, but this isn't a conscious reaction that I have. I'm not choosing to react. It's subconscious. And it's incredibly powerful. So, yeah. But I also am not a fan of intravenous anesthesia. So, we'll see. All right. Back to the studio to do some work, check in with clients. See you soon. I am in the midst of doing something very strange. I am boot slogging up a mountain. Got my big boots on. I'm in a Bigfoot light position, and I am slugging up the mountain. Why is it strange? Number one, because I'm wearing shorts with tights under them. I'm wearing heavy boots and there's no snow. I'm in a Bigfoot position and I'm not skiing. I haven't done a hike or a run or a slog in a long time. Maybe since Sweden perhaps. I think I may have done some Bigfoot light there as I was just soaking up the scenery, but yeah, I'm guessing it's been since September. I don't know, but it's been a while. And with the boots in the Bigfoot position, going uphill at a, 11 to 12% grade, I'm working, I'm breathing. So it feels good. I like it. Listening to a book on Becoming a Person by Carl Rogers, and some good stuff in there. Similar to the type of work that I do, being very compassionate with people, not judging them, working with them as they are, where they are, when they are. Yeah, this is a good experience. I'm going to point myself in this direction more often, even though there's plenty of snow in Woodford. Down here in the valley, the trails are, well, they're a bit muddy, which is why the boots come in handy. But it's too warm to ski today, even though there's snow. So more of this to come. And it's also good because I have my hands free, which means I can listen to a book and take notes, which I can't do on skis because of the gloves and the pole straps make it very difficult. So this is nice. No deliberate practice doing this. I'm not focused on technique. I'm just focused on the grind and what I'm listening to. It's nice. They're both nice. Deliberate practice is nice, and this is nice. All right. Whenever I go up, I find faces in the rocks. What do you see there? That was a nice treat to get out into the woods. I've had a lot of resistance to running or hiking or anything like that. I've wanted to try it, but just found myself avoiding it. So that was great to break the ice today and just make it an experience that evolved on its own. I'm up at Prospect pretty early today, trying to beat the warm weather, although it's already 40 degrees. So the snow is going to be mushy corn or sugar snow. I'm noticing that it's hard for me to, get excited about skiing right now because the season's over and the conditions are just going to get more and more challenging as it gets warmer and meltier. So I'm here. I don't have a plan. I'm going to move for a little bit, and I have a backup plan as well. If it doesn't go well, I have my big boots in the car, and I'll go to Woodford State Park 2 miles down the road where they have a lot more snow, and I will boot slog. And I'm not really excited to do that either, but I'll just put my boots on and I'll start walking and we'll see what happens. So this is always a difficult time of year for me, even before I was skiing, the transition from winter into spring. In the past, I would boot slog all winter and then try to find little patches of snow so I could continue to do it through April and into May sometimes. But it's tough to keep yourself moving when the things that have given you excitement are on the wane. So I'm going to go outside and just let myself move. And when I don't feel like skiing anymore, I'll put the boots on and slog until I don't feel like slogging anymore. It is surprisingly nice skiing today. Probably hear the wind in the tops of the trees. But it's much better than I expected. Still can't have a picnic at the summit, but almost. Looks like about, 16, 18 inches of very dense corn snow up here. I skied for a little over an hour. It was good skiing, but the snow is sticky, so it requires quite a bit more effort. So an hour, and I could feel myself getting tired. So that was enough. I'm going to go back into town, work on taxes, and do some writing, clients, some elliptical, and just one step, one step, one step. I had thought about doing a boot slog after the ski, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like I want to point myself in that direction, and that's fine. So we'll see if that happens tomorrow. Based on a hunch, I decided to try a little experiment. I drove about a mile east of Prospect to the Pine Valley parking lot where I am right now, which gives you access to the VAST network, which is the snowmobile trail network in Vermont. And I thought I would sit here in the parking lot for a bit. I'd listen to the current book on Becoming a Person by Carl Rogers. Take some notes, just relax, feel okay being here in the parking lot. And as I look out onto the snowmobile trail and the beaver ponds that it goes through, just see if there was any desire that arose in me, any interest that made me want to go out and explore that. And I'm picking up the camera right now because that happened. So back at Prospect 20 minutes ago, I was done, I was tired, I had no interest in doing anything else on the mountain. But just by putting myself here in the parking lot, engaging in another activity, feeling safe being here, looking at the beautiful scenery in front of me, and just allowing it to kind of percolate into my being, I now have a desire to go out and do some slogging. So here we go. Doing a mix of off-trail and on-trail, and the off-trail is exhausting pretty quickly, so do a few minutes of that and then pop back on the trail and then weave off and exploring beaver ponds and little streams, and super nice up here. The snowmobiles really dirty the snow, and they make there's a lot more ice on the snowmobile trails than there is on the ski trails, but it's beautiful in here. Oh wow, oh god, I went over, no, up to my hip in snow. Wow. Here's a beaver pond that the dam broke, and now it's just a little stream, a little pocket valley. Oh, so much to explore in here. I love it. What a great treat it is to be back here exploring on foot. It's been a long time, and just goes to show you again and again that our predictions of what we're capable of and what we think we will enjoy, or what we think we will not enjoy, are more often than not wrong. And if we just point ourselves in a direction, take our time, allow ourselves to feel safe and comfortable, and slowly, very slowly and gently put ourselves into motion in an environment that we come alive in a way that we did not predict, that we did not anticipate. So I also, at the same time, felt myself wanting to do a certain amount of distance, that my identity, my ego, wanted to make this count. And I thought, at first it was half a mile. Go out half a mile, turn around, come back, you did a mile. Hey, great job. And then as I looked at my watch, it was like, okay, 3/4 of a mile, we'll do a mile and a half. And then suddenly it was, how about a mile? We'll go a mile, we'll turn around, and we'll come back. But I didn't bring gloves and my hands are getting really cold. So I decided, why do I have to go a mile? Why does it have to be 2 miles total? So I just turned around at 0.93 miles. So it won't be 2 miles. It's not going to be an even large round number. So what? It's so fascinating to me, the constraints that our identity puts on things, that our conscious will wants to control the activity, wants it to be neat and tidy and fit into a certain box. But it doesn't have to. This can be whatever it is. My body is benefiting either way. My whole being is benefiting either way. 2 miles or 1.86, I don't know. It's fine. So I have to keep catching myself and saying, it's okay. It's okay. Turn around now. Protect your hands. Get back to the car. Good job. The town has a bit of a glow to it this morning. Everything is soaking wet. There's a little bit of sun poking through the gray gloom. It's kind of nice looking. Good morning. What you doing? What you doing? I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. Beautiful skiing today. Perfect conditions. So much snow up here. It's too bad they're closing for the season after tomorrow. It's just fantastic skiing today. Gonna be a little bit sad when they close tomorrow. I may come up and ski unofficially a little bit, but it won't be groomed. So it won't be the best conditions, but it's been a good season of learning. Now I've got to point that learning lens toward something else and see what happens. I have to keep reminding myself what I'm up to. The goal is to not really try to get good at anything, to not force the learning, to not force the adaptation or transformation, but just keep pointing myself in that direction and see what happens. Every now and again, I would measure what the results were, but I never force myself. It's a very gentle approach. And the result is that I'm becoming a better and better skier as time goes by. So now the question is, where do I want to point that gentle lens next? Where do I want to grow? Hey girls. What's going on? Today is the last day of official services at Prospect, which means that tomorrow there won't be any grooming, there won't be a lodge. So I may still come up and ski, but the snow is amazing, but they just can't justify the expense of grooming and the lodge and the staff when very few people come up. It's only seasons pass holders at this point that mainly ski, so you're pleasing people that have already paid their money, and it's not that much. It's $200 for the whole year. So anyway, gonna enjoy a good ski while it's still below freezing, and then time to transition into another mode of movement. Look at that perfect corduroy. Oh, the skiing is going to be incredible. For those of you that don't know, corduroy means cord of the king, cord du roi. I'm coming to learn something more and more about myself in the world, that when I'm moving through a natural environment and exerting effort, I come alive. It's me at my best. My thinking is clear and strong, and I'm engaged, I'm excited, I'm approach-oriented. But the moment I get back into the administrative world, trying to manage all of the complex stories around me and my own, that's when things go downhill. It's springtime and skiing is easy. What a beautiful spring day for skiing. It's been, I don't want to call it a challenging week, but I don't have a better word yet, so we'll use that one for now. In addition to training 22 and a half hours, which is a good size week, I have gone into a dark hole. I think this is a good place to talk about the purpose of this vlog, because it may not always be clear. Why am I doing this? I want to be as honest as possible in these videos and not show you a life that is, I don't know, I'm not trying to make anything up or prove anything. I'm simply showing how I behave now, how I step now, in the midst of good times and in the midst of times where it seems impossible to take any step at all, where it seems impossible to talk to the camera, because it's the last thing that my brain wants me to do. It just wants me to disappear. So here I am telling you that my brain wants me to disappear, and this is me not disappearing. Okay? All right, so maybe there's value in the sharing. I don't yet know, but I wanted to capture the experience of somebody that never imagined that he'd make it this far in life. I'm so surprised I made it to this age and I can function. Even in my worst days, I may not be able to function as much as what most people would consider normal, but I can still take steps. I can still learn. I can still grow. And then it'll pass, and I will not have lost anything in the process. So, yeah, here we go. I'll see you tomorrow.